In ancient Nepal, there was a small village nestled by a river. In this village lived a farmer named Kavi, known for his tireless work ethic. Every day, Kavi would rise before dawn and work his fields until the sun set. Despite his relentless effort, his crops were consistently poor, and his harvests were barely enough to sustain his family. Kavi's neighbors often marveled at his dedication but couldn't understand why his results were so disappointing. One day, a wise traveler arrived in the village. The villagers, aware of the farmer's struggles, invited the traveler to speak with Kavi, hoping he might offer some advice. The traveler was none other than a disciple of the Buddha, and upon hearing of Kavi's plight, he agreed to meet the farmer. When the traveler arrived at Kavi's field, he found the farmer sweating under the hot sun, plowing the dry, cracked soil. After observing Kavi's work for a while, the traveler approached him and said, "You work very hard, but I see you are not satisfied with your results. May I offer some advice?" Kavi, wiping his brow, replied, "I would welcome any guidance you can provide. I have tried everything, but nothing seems to improve my harvest." The traveler smiled kindly and said, "I'd like to share a story that might help you understand your situation better." He began his tale. Once, in a distant land, there was a man named Jaya who wanted to build a beautiful garden. He labored day and night, planting seeds and watering them diligently. Jaya believed that if he worked hard enough, his garden would surely flourish. However, despite his best efforts, the plants barely grew, and the garden remained barren. One day, Jaya sought the counsel of a wise old gardener. The gardener visited Jaya's plot and inspected the soil, the seeds, and the water sources. He then sat down and told Jaya, "You work with great enthusiasm, but there is an important lesson you must learn. Your efforts alone cannot guarantee success. You must first ensure that the conditions are right for your efforts to bear fruit." The gardener continued, "In your case, the soil is poor and lacks nutrients. The seeds you are using are not suited to this climate, and you have been watering them at the wrong times. No matter how hard you work, if the conditions are not favorable, your efforts will not yield the results you seek." Jaya listened carefully and followed the gardener's advice. He enriched the soil, chose seeds suited to the climate, and adjusted his watering schedule. Slowly, his garden began to thrive, and he enjoyed a bountiful harvest. He had learned that while effort is essential, it must be accompanied by wisdom and proper preparation. The traveler looked at Kavi and added, "In your case, the soil of your field might be depleted, or perhaps the methods you are using are not suited to your land. Consider seeking guidance to improve the conditions of your work and see if it changes the outcome." Kavi reflected on the story and realized that he had been focusing solely on his hard work without considering the underlying conditions affecting his results. He decided to seek advice from agricultural experts and learn more about improving his soil and farming techniques. Over time, with new knowledge and adjustments to his methods, Kavi's fields began to flourish. His efforts, now guided by wisdom and appropriate conditions, led to bountiful harvests, and his family no longer struggled for food. Through this experience, Kavi understood the Buddha's teaching embodied in the traveler's story: effort alone, without the right conditions and understanding, would not lead to success. True success comes from a harmonious blend of diligent effort and appropriate preparation.